embark on this momentous occasion, let the spirit of unity and progress guide us through a program that promises inspiration and innovation.
I am Nelson Santos, the President of the Publishers Associations of the Philippines.
And I'm Miss Melanie Baon, naturopath and radio broadcaster of Kaibigan sa Kalusugan. We'll guide you through this program, ensuring a seamless and memorable experience for all.
Thank you.
Before we begin, let us take a moment to center ourselves in prayer. Please welcome Ms. Marivic de los Reyes, Finance Manager of TGLI, to lead us in this solemn moment.
And please remain standing for our national anthem.
Thank you, Sir Nelson and Ma'am Melanie. A blessed afternoon, everyone. Let's put ourselves in the presence of our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen. Dear Father in heaven, we praise you, we adore you, we glorify you. We beg you, Lord, for your forgiveness for the sins we both committed and omitted. Our unending gratitude for all the blessings you have been giving us and for those yet to come. Lord, may everything we do begin with your inspiration and through you reach completion. May the spirit of love, peace, joy, and understanding reign in our heart, home, workplace, and wherever we may go. Father God, please cover us with your precious and holy blood. Give us wisdom and strength to pursue our advocacy. Please continue to prosper the works of our hands and be a good steward of what you have entrusted to us. More years of being together and success for TGLI, KSK, BT. Lord, please bless Sir Richard and his family, all of us here, and all of those connected with us in all aspects of our lives, our dreams and aspirations, which you have planted in our hearts. Our event to be in good order, the food we are about to partake later, and that may all of us be a catalyst of change as we share the goodness of health and wealth worldwide. May you be with us, Lord, and be the center in this event. The Project MEDCBG, State of the Philippine Medical Cannabis, and the rest of our endeavors all throughout the days of our lives. May the legalization of medical cannabis be fast-tracked so that more patients will benefit from it, more employment for our fellow Filipinos, and for the benefit of Philippine economy. We are all yours, Lord. Never permit us to be separated from you. All this we ask, Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus, in the unity of the Holy Spirit, through the intercession of Mama Mary, Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, Amen. Thank you.
Ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, telas ng sinamanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa paglayang minamahal, ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagkikinig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magtitingin. Luman ang araw ng warhabit pagsinta, mo'y langit sa piling ko. Ang inigaya na pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Next, we have a special video presentation from Medical Cannabis. Let's take a look at the latest updates in the world of medical cannabis.
Ang paggamit ng cannabis o
bilang
marijuana.
paggamot sa Pilipinas.
Ang paggamit ng medical cannabis.
Medical cannabis, used by millions of patients worldwide. Bakit sa Pilipinas ayaw ipagamit sa may sakit? Ang cannabis ay matagal nang ginagamit bilang gamot sa mahabang kasaysayan ng mundo. mula pa sa Chinese hanggang sa Romans at maging sa India. Ang medical cannabis ay aprobado na ng United Nations at kasalukuyang ginagamit ng 70 bansa sa buong mundo. Ilang tanyag na personalidad ay gumagamit din ito bilang gamot. Kabilang na si Barack Obama, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tedros Ghebreyesus ng World Health Organization at maging si Dalai Lama. Ang cannabis ay nagtataglay ng mahigit 500 na cannabinoids at terpenes, mga natural na sangkap ng halaman. Kabilang na dito ang CBD na nakakatulong laban sa epilepsy. Ang CBD, CBN, CBG at CBC na nakakatulong laban sa iba't ibang uri ng severe pain. Ang CBD ay nakakatulong din laban sa sleep disorder. Ang kombinasyon ng CBD at CBG ay nakakatulong laban sa anxiety. Samantalang, ang CBG at CBC ay nakakatulong laban sa Alzheimer's disease. Ang makabagong siyensya ay may kakayanan na kunin na specific compounds na ito mula sa halaman. Maaaring paghaluin o timplahin upang gumawa ng gamot. Ayon sa Proposed House Bill HB 241 at Proposed Senate Bill SB 230, ang medical cannabis ay maaari lamang gawin bilang kapsul at langis. Ito ay maaari lamang ireseta ng isang doktor na may S2 license. Ito ay maaari lamang ireseta sa isang pasyente na may karamdaman na nangangailangan nito. Ang doktor ay kailangan maglagay sa database ng PIDEA ng lahat ng kanyang mga reseta. Ang lahat ng pasyente ay may sariling QR code at nasa database din ng PIDEA. Ang cannabis medicine ay matatagpuan lamang sa tertiary government hospitals katulad ng Philippine General Hospital at East Avenue Medical Center. Hindi ito matatagpuan sa ibang mga butika. Ang taniman ng cannabis ay sa government property lamang. Hindi papahintulutan ang sinuman na magtanim ng cannabis. Bawal ang paghawak, pag-alaga at paggamit nito. Tanging ang pasyente na nakalista lamang sa PIDEA database ang maaaring makabili ng cannabis medicine na maaaring capsule or oil. Bawal ang paghithit na marijuana. Bawal din ito ihalo sa pagkain. Mahigpit ang batas at ipapatupad dito sa sinumang lalabag dito. Kapag dahil sa batas na, ang cannabis medicine ay maaaring makatulong sa libo-libong mga kababayan natin, katulad ng pagtulong nito sa mga may karamdaman sa napakaraming bansa. Ang medical at industrial cannabis ay maaaring magbigay ng bilyong-bilyong buwis sa gobyerno, katulad na nagaganap sa madaming bansa. Huwag ipagkait ang medical properties ng cannabis. Isulong ang legalisasyon ng medical cannabis.
Hello. Hello. Thank you. Hello. Thank you for the informative information. Napaka-educational yung video presentation mo, Doc. Na? Okay. Our next, please join me giving a warm welcome to esteemed President of Bauertek Corporation, Sir Richard Gomez, who will share his insight and open today's event.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, especially to some of our esteemed guests, Honorable Alonzo C. Saclag, Vice Mayor of Kalinga, Ms. Annie Andanar, Special Consultant for the Cannabis Committee, Ms. Ana Concepcion, Special Consultant for the Cannabis Legislative Committee, Ms. Cristel Valentino from the Municipal Office of Muñoz, Inventor Ronald Pagsanhan, President of FIS, Attorney Rodrigo Reyna, Legal Counsel, Mr. Nelson Santos, PAPI President, Professor John Tiope, the National Sec-Gen of Timpuyog, Philippines, General Thompson Lantion, Sec-Gen of PFP, Mr. Gary Vasquez, the author and inventor of VasBuilt, Mr. Edwin Eusebio, and also the many medical cannabis advocates we have over here. There's so many people, if I name everyone, we'll have another few minutes, but thank you very much for all your efforts. Welcome to the project MEDCBG++, State of Philippine Medical Cannabis. We acknowledge the efforts of everyone involved in getting medical cannabis legalized, available, and accessible to the Filipino people. We are also happy with the great rate of progress we've had over the past year, from the concerted efforts of advocates to network, lobby, and provide their knowledge and skills to the cooperation from the government agencies and also the academe for this project. Also, we acknowledge the determination and drive our legislators have been showing over the creation of the medical cannabis bill in the Philippines from both the Congress and in the Senate. I'm happy to see everyone together, united in our efforts to make and not just only advance medical cannabis, but also provide a means to benefit all the stakeholders, from small-time farmers and indigenous people who currently face heavy fines and imprisonment, just trying to make a livelihood out of making cannabis, to patients and their loved ones who would benefit from medical cannabis, and also the local economy, which would embrace the great potential given by this, which hopefully would allow local manufacturing, extraction, processing, as well as the accessibility and ease of use for the different patients who will need medical cannabis. There are many people here today who have sacrificed so much to get this far, and I would like to thank everyone for their work. Let us continue to work together in pushing for the full legalization of medical cannabis in the Philippines. Let us remember that we are doing this not just for ourselves, but for the greater good of the people. Let us continue to educate, advocate, and raise awareness about the benefits of medical cannabis and how it will improve the lives of the Filipino people. We are almost there, and I hope that by next year, we are celebrating legalized medical cannabis. Once again, welcome to the State of Philippine Medical Cannabis. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Rigel. And now let's proceed to the highlights of the program. May we call Mr. Richard Gomez and Sir Rigel on the stage.
And it's time to recognize some of our outstanding individuals. Each honoree will have 2 minutes to share their message after the recognition.
And to start with, we would like to call Mr. Edison K. Ching, Industrial Hemp.
This plaque of appreciation is proudly awarded to, mamaya sabihin natin ang pangalan, in recognition of your highly commendable efforts on the medical cannabis advocacy in the Philippines, given the 7th day of March 2024 during the project MEDCBG, State of the Philippine Medical Cannabis at Quezon City Sports Club, E. Rodriguez Senior Avenue, New Manila, Quezon City. Let us call from the Industrial Hemp Champion, Philippines, Mr. Edson K. Ching. Edson. Next, we would like to call the former cannabis regulator of the city of Sacramento, Ms. Sara Uitingban Cruz. Siya po ay bigatin doon sa Sacramento. Pumasok kami sa cannabis facility hanggang sa kaloob-looban, walang makaangal. dahil siyang regulator doon. Kung hindi niya bibigyan ng lisensya. Tatawag tayo ng apat and then we'll call them back again to share their messages in a while. Next, the president of Canna Hopefuls Incorporated, been doing this advocacy for the past decade, Dr. Donabel Cunanan. May cheering squad show. And for the first part, there are 4 of them. He is not here today, but he will be represented again by Dr. Donabel Cruz. Doc, can you represent and receive this award to Dr. Jem Mutia of the Philippine Society for Cannabinoid Medicine? May duty po sa hospital si Dr. Jem ngayon kaya hindi siya makarating. Pwede mo na tawagin isa-isa yung apat. Kahit tatlo lang to share their messages.
May we call once again to deliver a 2 minutes message. Mr. Edison K. Ching, on the stage, please.
Just to be sure. I prepared little something just to be sure, but I did not expect to be the very first person to do this. That was not part of the plan. But anyways, all right. So, okay. Our friends, Filipinos, and visionaries. Okay. A heartfelt thank you to Bauertek for spearheading today's event and for injecting significant energy in the cannabis advocacy. Your vision has been a catalyst for our change, and I want to take this moment to express my gratitude throughout our journey. To the medical advocates, your relentless energy has been truly our guiding light. We acknowledge that you are the true leaders of the legalization movement here in the Philippines. And to the public servants in media, for shedding light of the nuanced nature of our advocacy, highlighting the truth of our imperfect yet beneficial plant. Together with the grassroots community, who have been spreading the greatness of our beloved cannabis plant since day one, thank you for being the MVP. And of course, to our international allies in the USA, Europe, Thailand, China, and beyond, their examples inspire us. Our partnership strengthens our global community in the things that we need to learn, the many things we need to learn about cannabis. And as an industrial cannabis advocate, we are proud of the progress being made by everyone, especially in the medical cannabis community. We look forward to sharing the victory and in cultivating a new era, leaving behind our old, outdated ways of thinking that cannabis is bad. So no jail for a plant. Thank you for Bauertek for the recognition of industrial cannabis. We patiently support the urgent need for medical access for our country while we learn and connect with the international community on how to best utilize cannabis as a tool for humanity, be it for our sustainability goals, surviving climate chaos, even economic benefits for the poor, Our plant is truly levels above. It's the best in the world. Thank you, and let's keep going because hemp heals humanity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. And now may we call Ms. Zara Utingban Cruz, former cannabis regulator, City of Sacramento.
Hello, everyone. So, if I tell this room that cannabis changes lives, that would be like preaching to the choir, right? So, I'm going to take a moment and just tell you how cannabis changed my life. So, less than 2 years ago, I was working as a cannabis regulator in California, and I heard about the Senate bill that's proposing to legalize medical cannabis here in the Philippines. So naturally, this is my home country, and with all my experience, I wanted to get involved. So next thing I know, I was sitting at a Senate committee hearing next to these wonderful group of advocates whom, little did I know, have been fighting for this for at least a decade. That was a humbling experience for me and life-changing. Because at that point, I found my sense of purpose. So, fast forward to today, I'm now happily retired from my cannabis job in California, and happy to join the movement to rewrite our history, working with these advocates and who have pretty much become my family and my friends since I moved back after being gone for 30 years. So thank you for the inspiration, for trusting me with this, to work hand in hand with you in this endeavor. So, and that's all because of cannabis. Yeah, if someone had told me before that I'll find myself here one day because of cannabis, I would have asked, what are you smoking? But we're not gonna go there, because we're pushing for the legalization of medical cannabis. So to Bauertek, Doc Richard, thank you for all that you do to help support legalization of medical cannabis. And this is a huge honor, and I look forward to continuing the journey with you and with everyone else here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, let's call on Dr. Donabel T. Cunanan, President of Canna Hopefuls Incorporated, to deliver her message.
To Bauertek Corporation General Manager Sir Richard Gomez, to Dr. Richard Nixon, Bauertek Corporation CEO and General Manager, to my fellow advocates, friends, families, and media partners, good afternoon. 10 years ago, I was just an ordinary mother, a loving mother who is desperately looking for an alternative cure because of my daughter who's been suffering from an intractable form of epilepsy known as Dravet syndrome. It has always been my dream to look for an alternative option that would somehow improve the quality of her life. And because of that, after much prayers and contemplating, our pediatric neurologist told us that there was no cure. And what a loving mother would do is to really exert all my efforts to look for an alternative cure. I stand to you before today testifying that medical cannabis movement in the Philippines that we founded alongside with all other fellow advocates here 10 years ago was just born because out of love. love to all our beloved patients who's been suffering from intractable form of epilepsy, cancer, multiple sclerosis, and among many other illnesses that can be treated or somehow alleviated by medical cannabis. It has been my humbling experience to represent all our patients. Canna Hopefuls Incorporated, formerly known as the Philippine Cannabis Compassion Society, is the only patient organization in the Philippines recognized by our government. We are composed of mothers, fellow advocates, supporters, caregivers with our loving families, and of course, our beloved patients. On behalf of all our patients, I would like to share this recognition not to me. This is not all about me. And this is not all about my daughter, Julia. I would like to share this stage with my fellow mother advocate, Ms. Girly Cleophas, who is also a mother advocate to our beloved Canna Hopeful, Julia Cleophas, and to my fellow mothers and caregivers of this advocacy. 10 years ago, it has just been our greatest dream not to be recognized and not to be famous, but rather it has always been a dream that someday medical cannabis would be a mainstream medication to all our patients, where prejudice will no longer be out of fear to all our patients. That's why we passionately advocate for an affordable, safe, and available medical cannabis. Abot kayang gamot na galing po sa gamot na cannabis. Ligtas po sa kahit ano pong klase ng pesticides o anuman pong klase ng mga insecticides. At higit sa lahat, medical cannabis na hindi lang po imported, kundi medical cannabis na gawang Pinoy, para po ito ay maging abot kaya ng bawat Pilipino. At dahil po dito mula sa mga pasyente, I would like to extend and take this opportunity to Bauertek Corporation to please, in the future, make this medicine available for the poor. Maraming salamat po at muli po padayon sa ating lahat.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And now may we call again Dr. Richard Gomez and President Rigel Gomez for another set of plaque of appreciation.
Excellent. Wow. Kilalang tao to sa buong Pilipinas. Sa lahat ng ibayo, sa lahat ng bundok, kilala siya. At lahat ng mga nangangailangan. Let us give this appreciation to, let us call on stage, the National Chairman of the Medcann Party, Attorney Henry Enaje. Ang hindi nakakilala sa kanya, hindi advocate. Next one, let's call the Executive Director of Haraya Policy Center, Ms. Lea Fulion. Next one, we're privileged to give this plaque of appreciation to the president of she's a known cannabis advocate. Even sa kaloob-looban ng Kongreso at ng Senado. Let's give a big hand to Ms. Mary Grace Ibuna. And last for the second batch, the co-convener, seniors for MEDCAN. May nalampasan yata ako. Sorry, nalampasan ko. Ang liliit kasi nasulat Fund 6 The president of Masik High Research, let's welcome Mr. Carlos Chuck Manansala.
Okay, may we call Attorney Henry Enaje to deliver a short message.
Hello. Good afternoon to everyone. It's such a humbling recognition, but I would like to give back the recognition to the farmers, to the indigenous peoples, to those still currently incarcerated in jails because of our oppressive law that we are trying to change. To the patients and families been lobbying for this reform for a decade already, and everyone who contributed in their way for this advocacy. Maraming salamat po, and congratulations Dr. Richard Nixon Gomez, Sir Rigel, and to the rest of the Bauertek team. Mabuhay po kayo. Magkikita-kita tayo sa isang Pilipinas na legal ang medical cannabis. Mabuhay po.
Thank you very much, sir. Next is Ms. Leia Fulion, Executive Director, Haraya Policy Center.
Good afternoon. Honestly, when I got the letter of invitation for today's program saying that I will receive recognition for my efforts for this advocacy, I was really surprised. And also a little confused because for all intents and purposes, the struggle, the fight for medical cannabis is still a long fight. It's been 10 years, and I appreciate my fellow advocates for all the time that they have given towards this goal. However, I also realized that there was much to be celebrated over the years of our movement for medical cannabis. In the last decade, the movement has grown, expanded, and bloomed in so many ways. And it has become more dynamic, inclusive, and effective in bringing our mission into fruition. Organizations dedicated to advancing our cause has sprouted to accommodate more and more people from all walks of life and colors of the spectrum. Perhaps as a message today, I hope to convey to my fellow advocates, everyone here, that our fight, tremendous as it may seem, is but a part of a bigger fight, for access to health, to human rights, and the democratic right to be heard by our government and the overall fight for social justice. Bilang huli, nagpapasalamat ako sa mga kapwa ko, tagapagtaguyod sa labang ito. Salamat sa panahon, husay, at sa sakripisyo. 10 taon, napakatagal niya. Lalo na sa mga pasyente na nakikita yung mga kalagayan ng ating mga anak, ng ating mga kaibigan. Napakalaking unsurmountable odds were faced by these people. Lalo na po sa mga biktima ng prohibisyon na nasa loob pa ng mga kulungan. Hanggang ngayon, mga pasyente na nakakulong, sa kabila ng lahat ng yan, ay narito pa rin tayo. Maraming salamat sa pagkilalang ito at maraming salamat sa pagpapatuloy po ng ating laban. Magandang hapon po muli sa ating lahat.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Our next is Miss Maria Luella Manansala, Co-Convenor Senior for MEDCAN o Arcaro Benavides. Oh, sorry. Next is Mr. Carlos S. Manansala, the President, Masikhay Research.
Una pong natawag yung aking misis eh. Medyo kinabahan ako, baka pagalitan ako kung ako aakyat dito. Ayan. It has been 10 long years since we started the legislative and public campaign for medical marijuana. My involvement began in November 3, 2013, when I and my wife Louie attended the tribute to Moon Jaden, a child afflicted with intractable epilepsy whose parents searched for marijuana as medicine for their child's seizure. Punong-puno ng hadlang ang 10 taon ng ating pakikibaka. Nilabanan natin ang stigma ng marijuana, ang prohibitionist ideology at big pharma loyalty ng mga doktor at ang kakulangan ng kaalaman at maling pag-iisip ng ating mga mambabatas. Pero hindi tayo natinag. Sa sariling oras at sa pondong galing sa sariling bulsa, hindi nagmaliw ang determinasyon ng mga advocates na ituloy ang laban para magkaroon na tayo ng batas para sa medical marijuana. At sa tansya ko, napakalaki ng posibilidad na pumasa na ang batas na ito sa loob ng taong ito. Maraming salamat, Doc Richard, sa inyong paglahok sa laban. Local cultivation of marijuana and production of cannabis medicine is a vital component of creating an industry and an ecosystem that will benefit patients and our economy. Maraming salamat sa pagkilalang ito na nararapat lang na ialay sa lahat ng mga advocates at mga pasyente na hindi pinanghinaan ng loob. Buo pa rin ang determinasyon at sama-samang lagi sa kilos para sa isang batas na pakikinabangan ng buong sambayanan. Maraming salamat, Bauertek. Maraming salamat, Doc Richard. Maraming salamat, Rigel. At higit sa lahat, maraming salamat sa ating mga kapwa advocates na kasama natin ng pagkatagal-tagal ng panahon. Bago ko po kayo paalamanan ng magandang hapon, meron lang ako ipakikiusap ha. Gagawa lang tayo ng konting sloganeering. Sasabihin ko, ipasa na ang batas sa medical marijuana? Yan sabihin ko. Ano ang sasagot nyo? Ang sagot, ganito. Ora mismo ngayon na. Oh. Rehearsal. Ano pa lang, ordinaryo pa lang ha. Oh. Ipasa na ang batas sa medical marijuana. Tugon? Ora mismo ngayon na. Oh, ito ha, totoo na. Ipasa ang batas sa medical marijuana. Maraming salamat at magandang hapon sa inyong lahat.
Marami po salamat, Mr. Pangulong Manansala. And now, for our last batch for the plaque of recognition, may we call again the President, Rigel Gomez, and Dr. Richard Nixon Gomez.
For our last batch of awardees today, those that we recognize, let's call the co-convener, seniors from MEDCAN. Let's welcome Ms. Louie Manansala. Sa nanonood po ng next Netflix, dapat kilala niyo siya. Next one, the CEO of Mabuhay Maharlika, Mr. Arthur Reyes. Siya established the first Filipino dispensary in Bangkok, Thailand. Next one, the other half, chairperson of Sensible Philippines, let's call Maria Guadaline Reyes. Just call her G. Last but not the least, as our advocates, napakaraming advocates, but kailangan po natin i-recognize sa kanilang effort. They've been with us. They suffered because of their advocacy, because of their belief in medical cannabis. Katulad po niya, tawagin natin, Vice President for Luzon ng Medcann Party, Mr. Jomi Teotico. Jomi.
That's our last batch. Thank you. And now, may we call to deliver their message for 2 minutes message.
Ma'am Maria Luella Manansala.
Magandang gabi sa lahat at lalo na sa mga co-medical cannabis advocates. I am honored and humbled to receive this recognition after pushing for medical cannabis for the last 10 years. Maraming salamat, Doc Richard Gomez at sa buong Bauertek. However, I am here today not to represent myself as an individual, I am here to represent our group, Seniors for MEDCAN Philippines, and all other seniors, patient or not patients, all 12 million of them in the Philippines who are in need or might be in need of this much debated medicine. This recognition is a result of a collective effort. I share this with all medical cannabis advocates who have unselfishly and without complaints offered their time, talent, and treasure up to this very minute. I share this with all advocates who have been in this fight for a decade or more, or even those new in the movement. For me, it is not the number of years that counts, but the quality of their participation in the movement. That is, adhering to a pro-people approach, remaining humble and sincere, and keeping their integrity intact. I share this with the silent, the unnamed advocates whose contributions have not been publicly recognized. They are not seen, heard, or read in the media. They who have risked their lives to save lives. And I draw immense inspiration from all of them. Para sa inyo po ang lahat ng ito. Salamat sa Diyos. At mabuhay tayong lahat. Maraming salamat po.
Next, Mr. Arthur C. Reyes, CEO Mabuhay Maharlika.
Hello, Mike Tess. Good afternoon, good evening sa inyong lahat. Oh my gosh, I did not prepare any readings or whatever, but it's mixed feelings, you know. It's both a little bit sad, a little bit happy, but you know, and really overwhelming. Dr. Richard Gomez and Mr. Rigel, thank you. It's truly an honor to be recognized. This is my first recognition in many, many years after the military. You know, we're very, very proud. With the support of my beautiful wife, she believed in the ability namin na magtayo ng kauna-unang Pilipino na cannabis dispensary, not only in Thailand but in the world. So, you know, that's something that monumental and historical for both of us, and I hope Filipinos recognize it that way, the way we view it. Ang Mabuhay Maharlika I think it's the first Filipino themed dispensary. I haven't seen anything like that before, so my wife and I built that. Thank you. This is a time for me to thank also the advocates na kasama namin. Thank you so much for that. Now it comes to the message. I wanted to speed up this. The message is I want you guys to do your educate yourself and then pass that education. And also this message is for our executive, the legislative, and the judiciary, and also the Philippine Medical Association. You know, stop wasting time. You know what I mean? Ang anak ng Pilipinas naghahantay ng sagot at lunes. And it's given to us. And companies like Bauertek, more power to you guys. And we're looking forward for many more blessings and many more miracles. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay Maharlika.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations. May we call Ms. Maria Guadaline Reyes, Chairperson, Sensible PH.
A pleasant afternoon to everyone. First of all, I would like to recognize Bauertek masigabong palakpakan. Because of them, we are being recognized. And allow me to ask my fellow medical cannabis advocates, please rise. Please rise para sa Pilipinas. Come on, Attorney Henry, please rise. There you go. These are the people for the past 10 decades. For the past 10, it's been 10 years, not 10 decades. I know. That 10 years, they told me the stories. The stories have been emotional, personal, and strong. Thank you so much. Palakpakan natin ang medical cannabis advocates. The laws and institution must go hand in hand with the progress of the human mind. As that becomes more developed, more enlightened, as new discoveries are made, more truths discovered, and manners and opinions change. With this change in circumstances, institutions must advance also to keep pace with the times. Huwag na tayong papahuli. And this was said by Thomas Jefferson. The global doors are still knocking sa mga pinto ng bawat Pilipino, bawat bahay, bawat pamilya, bawat institusyon, bawat kumpanya, bawat puso. The global movement is knocking on our doors. And it's a matter of time until we'll have to make a stance. Tama si Mr. Carlos Mananzalo. We need affordable, safe, and accessible medical cannabis. Maraming salamat.
Our last awardee, Sir Jomi Chotico, Vice President for Luzon Medical Cannabis Party, on stage.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you sa pagpunta lahat dito and sa nagsusupport sa marijuana. Thank you, Sir Richard, sa pag-invite. Ako po si Jomi Chatico. Ako po yung nanalo ng Pinoy Fear Factor dati. Doon ako na-diagnose na meron akong ADHD. So, that's where my journey started as a cannabis advocate kasi I found out na ang safest na gamot para sa ADHD is marijuana. So, yun. So, from distracted yung isip ko, mabilis ako ma-distract, kaya nagka-focus ako. Actually, nagkaroon ako ng hyper-focus para matapos yung mga task. And isa to sa mga task na natapos ko, yung book ko, which is Mind of an Altruist. It's all about self-discovery and awareness para mahanap nyo at ma-discover nyo yung sarili nyo. Kasi that's my passion, to share this awareness. Ang sarap mahanap yung passion natin, sana mahanap natin lahat to. And unfortunately, na sulat ko siya sa loob. Kasi nga, illegal pa rin ang marijuana dito. So nagamit siya sa akin. Na-set up ako para doon. Kaya ako nagsasalita ngayon. Kasi sinasabi ko na effective ang drug war at gamot ang marijuana. Kaya maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat na naniniwala sa marijuana at gamot ako. Dahil po sa pagtutulong natin itong pagsabi na to, educate sa mga tao, information na totoo, magiging maligligal na po ang marijuana. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. And now let's begin a special message. A message from Ms. Ashley Markford, Crop Queen Consulting Cannabis Specialist. She cannot join us today, but her message, special message, will be via Zoom. Please.
Miss Ashley, please speak na po.
Can you hear me all right?
You may speak, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, it's clear, ma'am.
So thank you for having me. And hello to the Philippines. Also happy 420 here in Thailand. I'm very excited to come online and be able to speak with you about kind of my past in cannabis and why I feel that cannabis is so beneficial medically. So I started as a nurse when I was younger in Canada, and I worked in mental health, in long-term care. I worked in palliative care, home care nursing, as well as nursing in remote areas, like on native reserves as well. I loved being a nurse. I went into nursing because I wanted to help people. My mom is actually a nurse as well. There was a little bit of moral contradiction after going into nursing because I found there was a lot of over dosing of pharmaceuticals in the industry. That just didn't make sense to what I learned as a nurse. For example, we learn in nursing that if you give over 7 medications at one time, you will have harmful drug interactions. And me, myself, I was giving 30 pills every 4 hours to one patient. I was overdosing my patients. And it didn't seem right. I went into cannabis. Actually, it was divine because I actually got in a severe car accident that gave me brain trauma and a spinal injury. After that, I couldn't go back to working as a nurse like I did. But I walked into the cannabis clinic and I actually started my career as a cannabis nurse. I had 5,000 patients, people that were blind, elders. We had war veterans, also children, and veterinarians for their pets. And what we would do is we would take all the local growers' products, I would take medical files, and I would match them with their products. Have many harmful interactions with other drugs. For example, blood pressure would be one that you have to be careful with when having people on cannabis programs. But other than that, cannabis is not addictive and it's super accessible to people. I think it changed my life. It changed my life. Just seeing the benefits that patients got, and they got their quality of life back. I then started going into a new path. I decided that I didn't just want to treat patients. I wanted to actually help the industry grow as a whole globally. And I want to help other countries, other patients just like mine, get access to medication that is easy to access for them. That is relatively good with all different ailments. And I think it starts with this. I think it's very important for the future health of all our generations and our children. So I'm grateful to be here to be talking with you. And I'm a very big advocate for cannabis for medical purposes. If you guys ever have any questions or comments, please reach out to me. I would really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
So do you have a question from... No more question, Ma'am Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, once
Any
again,
questions?
no question, ma'am. Thank you for joining us this special message by Zoom. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great day.
Let us all hear another special message via Zoom from our Managing Director of PICO Global Pharmaceuticals, Sir Peter Stratakos.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure and an honor to be invited to deliver this message. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge Bauertek. Never have I been so impressed in a lifetime of working in the medical cannabis space and consulting globally for emerging markets and legalization. We are a company from Holland and California. We're very impressed by what we saw just in the Philippines. And I'd like to also acknowledge the advocates who, everyone in the Philippines who's been working on this and risking, at pretty grave risk to get medicine to those who need it. I've spent more than half my life treating patients. Had a retail space in 2008 in Los Angeles, and I've been making tinctures back to then for grandma seizures and Dravet's, broad spectrum with CBD. Founder of a grain supply. Founder of a grain supply. U.S. Farm Bill. U.S. Farm Bill for hemp. Pesticide laws for cannabis, and grew 38,000 acres plus, mostly of CBD, some tri-purpose hemp crops. In 2018, coast to coast in the United States, and now have been working where my passion is back on the pharmaceutical space. We have the first CBD IV that we're in clinical trial in three different countries now. In three different countries. I'm calling in from Bangkok, and I'm calling in from Bangkok. I'm in Thailand as well. As we know, Thailand's an emerging market, and we are in market, and we are clinical trials here, treating patients with our CBD IV. So, my message for being invited would be, just to congratulate everyone who is working on this in the Philippines, and I hope that this medicine is accessible to those who need it. Because it's only when you see patients, as we have Crohn's and colitis patients or cancer patients going into full remission or with epilepsy, when you actually see these patients, you meet them in person. They need this medicine. They can't. The quality of life is so horrible and with pain, without this medicine. So I'm hoping for the people of the Philippines that legalization will come soon as soon as possible. So thank you all so much for the honor and if you have any questions as well, please just let me know. Thank you.
Hi, Sir Peter. Hello. Can you hear me, Sir Peter? Hi. Hello, Sir Peter. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Nelson.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Some of our guests here want to see your face. Can you focus to your camera?
Sure thing.
That's great.
Yeah. Cheers all. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions.
Do you have questions to Sir Peter? Okay, Sir Peter, thank you for joining us today. We don't have any question from you. Maybe later on. Once again, thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Okay, we're honored to have some special guests with us today. Let us hear the inspiring messages. Okay, another special message. Dr. John Ortiz Tiope, the National Secretary General, Timpuyog, Pilipinas.
Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Dr. John Ortiz Tiope. I'm a member also of the technical working group in the Congress and in the Senate. I specialize on policy development. I am a Doctor of Philosophy in Organizational Development, Doctor of Education, Environment, and also Mathematics. I was invited here by Dr. Richard Gomez because we've been together pertaining to the campaign in terms of the advocacy and education for medical marijuana. As we speak on the context itself, we need to start educating the people on the importance of medical marijuana. Regardless how scientifically it is accepted, if people are not ready pertaining to understanding the importance, all our efforts would be at stain. With me also here is that I bring along my soul father and also the father of the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, General Thomson Lanchon, which is also the personal advisor to the President, Bongbong Marcos. He is a general and also, nung araw siya yung nanguhuli ng mga addict na marijuana. He is a seasoned officer. But on a certain point, this time he's from Nueva Vizcaya, he also advocates for the legalization of medical marijuana. So in such context is that we have now launched the idea in the program of Bagong Pilipinas, which is yours truly is a part of the national organizing group, being the elected national president of the Makabansang Alyansa para sa Bagong Pilipinas. And we included in this advocacy of realizing a new Philippines or Bagong Pilipinas by making a new point that medical marijuana would be legalized before the term of President Bongbong Marcos is finished. And a part of it, in a new Philippines, sa Bagong Pilipinas, ay ang mga tao ay naniniwala na sa advokasya at kahalagahan ng medical cannabis to solve and cure medical and physical problems of every person. So, to this advocacy is that naniniwala kami na sa pagsasama at sa pagpapaunawa sa bawat mamamayan, lalong-lalo na sa Bagong Pilipinas, sa usapin ng medical marijuana, ang lumang Pilipinas ay naniniwala ng medical marijuana ay masama. Pero sa Bagong Pilipinas, dapat maniwala ang bawat Pilipino na ang medical cannabis ay nakakatulong sa bawat Pilipino. So pagtatapos po, ako po ay naniniwala na sa pagkakaisa at sa pagtugon sa tamang edukasyon, advokasya, and the key to the realization for the enactment of medical marijuana is let us have an advocacy to educate all the people pertaining to this. As I say, medically, scientifically, there would be no problem. But on the mind, if they're not educated, if they are still on the mind of the people, pag ikay gumagamit ng marijuana, ikay adik at masama, hindi po ito maipapasa. So, the point is that let us educate the people, teach them the importance, so that everybody would accept the necessity and importance of medical cannabis. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And now, all the way from Kalinga, the Vice Mayor of Libuagan, Vice Mayor Alonso Saclag Jr.
Magandang gabi sa ating lahat. Ay magsasalita ako ng hindi English, organic, kasi organic ang marijuana. At masaya ako dahil ako ay inimbitahan from Kalinga. Actually, gusto ko pong ipakilala ang aking sarili. I'm Alonso Saclag Jr. from the Municipality of Lubuagan, Kalinga. The only municipality, yun ang pagkakaalam namin who supported the bill. So actually, we have two resolutions here. So, a resolution supporting the approval of the House Bill 6783 filed by Davao del Norte Congressman Pantaleon Diaz Alvarez into law, which seeks to remove cannabis and any of its form or derivative from the list of dangerous drug and substances under the existing law. Isa po yan. And another is a resolution supporting the approval of an act granting to medical cannabis as compassionate alternative means of medical treatment, expanding research into its medical properties, enumerating prohibited act, and prescribing penalties, therefore, and for the purposes filed on July 7, 2022 by Senator Padilla Robin Hood. Yan po ang aming sinuportahan. Masaya po ako dito kasi nandito din ang aking kaibigan, si Attorney Henry Enahe. Na-meet ko po sa Congress siya dahil kay Congressman Alvarez. And of course, my very good friend, Dr. Chope. And of course, itong Bauertek, nagpapasalamat po ako sa iyo, Sir Richard, for inviting me here para masabi ang sentimento ng mga taga-Kalinga. Kung tignan nyo po sa list, billions ang nasusunog na marijuana sa Kalinga. So nasasayangan po kami doon kasi alam namin na makakatulong po ito sa probinsya ng Kalinga, hindi lang probinsya ng Kalinga, kundi hindi buong Pilipinas. Dahil para po ito sa amin, para lang siyang oil sa Saudi Arabia. Tayo, may cannabis oil din tayo. So nasasayang po iyon na nasusunog lang. Ang sabi ko nga, punta nga ako dito sa event na to. Nakikita ko naman po, hindi naman nagmumukhang adik ang mga nagpupush o mga advocates ng marijuana, no? O, tingnan natin, puros naman tayo professionals. Actually, ang unang-una sana na, anong tawag dito? Sana yung gagawin natin sa Kalinga, Attorney Henry? Consultation. Unang-una na consultation to be led by Honorable Pantaleon Alvarez and Sir Ace Berbers and pati sila Senator Batu and Senator Robin. Sa Kalinga sana yung kauna-unahan. Actually po, ginagawa na po yung bus para sa mga advocates. Yung cannabis. Cannabis. Tapos ang nakalagay doon sa bus ay happy trip. Happy trip. Alam niyo po, sana pambigyan niyo ako kasi mahaba ang aking biyahe. So, pero actually hindi sana ako magsasalita. Magpasalamat ako dahil may time na nilaan para sa akin. Sabi ko nga kanina na ilalabas ko ang sentimento ng mga taga-Kalinga na sana maaprubahan ang mga bill para sa medical marijuana. Opo. Nung una po, takot po ako na mag-push doon sa Kalinga, dito sa medical marijuana. Pero nung nakita ko na may natulungan kaming pasyente, 2 kidney ang natamaan. So kami ang nagsusupport sa kanya sa hospital. Ngayon, sabi ng asawa niya, ang pangalan niya po is Nestor Buliwan. Taga sa amin po yon. Lahat yung kasama niya sa ICU namatay. Ngayon, tinanong na ng doktor, bakit siya lang ang buhay. Ngayon, natatakot yung asawa niya na magsabi na pinapainom siya ng sekreto ng marijuana, tea and oil. Kaya buhay na buhay po siya ngayon. Nandun po, nagtatrabaho bilang stone masonry. Kuan ngayon. Mabigat na trabaho yon. Isipin mo, 2 kidney ang nasira. Ngayon siya lang ang buhay doon sa ICU. So, doon po ako nag-push na ilaban ito dahil wala po kami pambili ng mamahaling gamot ng mga cancer, mga ganyang kidney problem. Kaya nagpapasalamat kami na nandito ang Bauertek na nagsusulong and of course yung mga advocates dito sa marijuana. So, hanggang doon na lang po. Mahaba ata yung sinabi ko. Sana ang background ko kanina dapat reggae, no? Para doon mo makikita ang isang music, for example, sentimental music, no? Yung ding 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 ding, parang pati yung emotion mo parang bumababa din yung kwan. Pero pag ang music mo ay reggae, parang masayahing tao ka. Di ba? So, humahaba ang buhay. So, pahabain natin ang buhay para sa marijuana. Kasi totoo po to. Hahaba po ang buhay. May kilala po ako na isang, bakit ang haba ng buhay niya? Yun po ang tanong ng mga tao. Ayaw ko lang banggitin yung pangalan. Lagi po siyang nag-order ng marijuana sa Kalinga. Umabot po siya ng 100. Alam ko, kilala nyo yun. Umabot ng 100. So, ngayon, ang nasasabi ko po, may pag-asa sa marijuana. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Salamat po.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Another special message from Special Consultant of Cannabis Legislative Committee, Ma'am Annie Andanar.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Annie Andanar. In December of this year, I was requested by former President, now Congresswoman Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, to assist her, particularly in shepherding the bills, her 2 bills, and one specifically on medical cannabis. I know that this bill has been pending more than 10 years. Actually, this is the 5th Congress. Congress is composed of 2 chambers, the House of Representatives and the Senate of the Philippines. And all these years, you had to go through many meetings in the legislature, but unfortunately, it did not become law. So now, it has fallen on our shoulders to push for it, to advocate for the use and the access of medical cannabis in the Philippines after all these years, and to see it through, inshallah, as we say, because I'm a Muslim, in December or at the latest by the end of this Congress, which is 2025. Because of our efforts, President Gloria has very strict instructions to make the bill simple enough that it will not require the legislators to think more than rejecting or thinking twice about passing the bill. The good news is in the House of Representatives, I think many of you were there during the February 7 because we helped push for the February 7 meeting of the joint committees of the dangerous drugs chaired by Congressman Barbers of Surigao and Congressman Gato of Batanes, the chairman of the Committee on Health, and ably assisted by the TWG chairpersons, Congresswoman Luistro for dangerous drugs and Congressman Goles for the Committee on Health. And so what happened thereafter was we also initiated a meeting between the staffers in the Senate of Senator Robin Padilla, Senator Tulfo, and other staffers who had shown interest in advocating for medical cannabis as well. So the status now is you have two substitute bills, consolidating the bills in the House. That's why you also have an unnumbered House bill, which is going to be referred to the Committee on Appropriations on the part of the House because there is an appropriation component. Ito po yung nagsasabi kung magkano po ang ilalaan ng House of Representatives. Dahil ang appropriations po ay nanggagaling sa House, hindi po sa Senado. So yung lengguwahe at yung amount ay pag-uusapan sa Committee on Appropriations. Hopefully by next week may pasok namin, matransmit sa Committee on Appropriations so that before they go on Holy Week recess, ay mapag-usapan na yung unnumbered substitute bill ng House. In the Senate, we were also lucky because napaikot, napabilis yung sulong ng ating substitute bill. At ayaw po nilang magpakilala, ayaw magsalita sana, pero yung mga katulong natin sa Senado, aside from the staffers of Senators Robin, Tulfo, the Majority Leader and the Minority Leader, nandito po si Undersecretary Bernardino Sayo ng Presidential Legislative Liaison Office, Malacanang, at si Director Ray Zarate. Si Yusek Bernie po ay matagal ko nang kasama. Ako po yung pioneer director ng Committee Affairs from 1987, the post-Cory Congress. So I was already there, and up to now, I'm doing consulting already for both the House and the Senate. Mahirap po ang trabaho. Ang trabaho namin ay hindi nakikita madalas. Pero ito po yung paglinang ng batas. Dahil yung pong mga batas ay nililinang sa committees. So yung mga diskusyon, lahat ng mga pag-aaral ay nandun sa committees because that is my next work. No? I will have to ask you for all the scientific basis, the scientific studies, and then we will have to put it in layman's language for the legislators primarily, and secondly, but primarily also for the Filipino public. Because they will have to understand what medical cannabis is and this law that we wish we can have before the end of this Congress. So marami pa pong trabaho. Hopefully, before they go on recess, meron po tayong tinatawag na legislative calendar. Hindi po ito yung March 1 to 31, yung ganon. No? Meron pong kalendaryo na sinusunod ang Kongreso ng Pilipinas. At hindi po pwede na yung isang House, yung House of Representatives, ay magsesesyon or magtatrabaho nang hindi din magtatrabaho yung Senado. So pag nag-adjourn po yung House or yung Senado, ano man ang mauna sa kanila, kailangan mag-adjourn sila pareho. And our legislative calendar is up to March 21, technically up to March 20, Wednesday, and then, but we will still be working up to March 22, and then they resume on April 29 up to May, very, very short, until sine die adjournment. Yun po yung matagal. Hanggang mag-opening ulit yung Kongreso, yung nagsa-State of the Nation address ang Presidente ng Pilipinas, this is the 4th Monday of July. So we have a very, very strict timeline to follow, and that is where we will need all your support, including a communication plan for both the House and the Senate. On Tuesday, we were lucky because marami pong kaibigan si Presidente Gloria. And on Tuesday, during a diplomatic function, Brunei National Day, I was able to meet a common friend, Ambassador Marcela Ordonez of Colombia. And I asked her, I said, I know that you have a law on medical cannabis in Colombia. Please assist us. And she said, unfortunately, the law is in Spanish. I said, I have no problem because my principal reads and speaks Spanish. But she is sending her second secretary, her legal officer on Tuesday for a briefing with the staffers in the House of Representatives. And hopefully on Wednesday, we will also be able to do it in the Senate of the Philippines. Marami pa pong kailangan gawin. Huwag po kayong mapagod. At kami naman po ay nandito, katabi ninyo, kasama ninyo, nasa likod nyo, at nasa harap nyo para pagtulong-tulungan natin itong pagiging legal ng medical cannabis dito sa ating bansang Pilipinas. Mabuhay po kayong lahat at maraming salamat.
Thank you very much for that very special message, Ma'am Annie Andanar. And now, it's time for a presentation by our General Manager, Sir Richard Nixon Gomez, about the latest developments in the cannabis industry. Mr. Richard Nixon Gomez, our licensed naturopath practitioner, Philippine Inventor of the Year 2021 and 2023, licensed broadcaster of Kapisanan ng mga broadcasters sa Pilipinas, member of Mensa International, chairman of Bauertek Pharmaceutical Technologies. Our very own, our General Manager of Bauertek Corporation, Mr. Richard Nixon Gomez.
Maraming salamat, Melanie. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Thank you so much for joining us today. Nasa stage ako, pinalayas ako. Special greetings to our guest for tonight, our Undersecretary Bernardino Sayo of the Presidential Legislative Liaison Office. Palakpakan po natin sila for taking time. Lahat po ng mga babanggitin ko, they deserve to be applauded for coming over. Director Ray Zarte of the Presidential Legislative Liaison Office. Vice Mayor of Lubuagan, Vice Mayor Alonso Saclag Jr. Thank you for coming. He came all the way from Kalinga, and I know malayo yon. Special Consultant for the Cannabis Legislative Committee, Ms. Annie Andanar, together with Ana Concepcion of the same committee. Also from the House of Representatives, from the Committee on Health, Nicole Liamson is also joining us there. Ms. Sheila Umagat and Cristel Dayan Valentino to represent the Mayor Baby Alvarez of the Science City of Muñoz. Bakit nandito ang Muñoz? Napakahalaga po. Ipapaalam ko sa inyo in a few minutes bakit napakahalaga ng participation ng Science City of Muñoz. And then we have the President of the Filipino Inventor Society, Ronald Pagsanghan. Where is he? Our Legal Counsel of Bauertek, Attorney Rodrigo Reyna. The former President of the Philippine Medical Association, Attorney Dr. Leo Olarte. Hindi po ako nagkamali, attorney at lawyer po. Attorney at doctor. And the National President of the Publishers Association of the Philippines, Mr. Nelson Santos, also our MC for today. The National Secretary General of Timpuyog, Philippines, Professor John Chope. Thank you. Secretary General of the PFP, General Thompson Lantion. Asan si General? Lumabas yata. And author former president of the Filipino Inventor Society, Mr. Gary Vasquez. Kasamahan ko for 20 years. Hindi naman 20 years, mahalata tayo. Sabi ko 10 years na lang sa media, Edwin Eusebio. And of course, I would like to acknowledge lahat ng mga media practitioners kasamahan natin na nandito ngayon, mga naturopath ng kaibigan sa kalusugan, ating kasamahan mula sa Bauertek and the global leader. Thank you so much for coming today. I have a short presentation for you. Allow me to share some slides sa inyo. Pag-usapan po natin ngayon is about the state of the Philippine medical cannabis. Napakaganda na mensahe ng ating mga speakers ngayon at ganoon rin po nakabagbag damdamin mga mensahe mula sa ating mga cannabis advocates. Alam ko pong hirap pinagdadaanan ninyo, magkakasama tayo yung bago mag-session, after ng session, at saka sa mga GC. Maraming salamat po for coming over sa ating po mga cannabis advocates. I will not dwell on this. Pero ilang taon na rin nagsimula na pinayagan sa iba't ibang bansa na legalize ang medical cannabis. Marami. US. Pinaka-latest nga yung Ukraine, Japan. Alam niyo naman ang Japan masyadong masyadong conservative. Pero allowed sa kanila ang medical cannabis. Tayo ba mas matalino pa? Mas magaling kesa sa Japan na tinatanggihan natin yan. Allowed siya sa France, sa Germany, sa Netherlands, sa UK, sa Australia, sa Canada, even sa Israel, and so many other countries. Hindi na natin pag-usapan yon. In the Philippines, it is not yet legal. It will be legal very soon. Isang dekada na po ang pakipaglaban ng ating mga kasamahan. Salamat sa inyong ginawa na pakipaglaban. My assumption is, by end of this year, sa tulong po ng ating mga kasamahan, it will be legalized finally. Yun lang, hindi pa siya legal. Maaring umabot ng 12 years ang pagkakakulong. Ating kasamahan na si Jomi, naghahanap ng gamot sa kanyang sakit na ADHD. Nakakita ng gamot. Siya ay ikinulong dahil ginamot niya ang kanyang sarili. Ilan taon ka? 6 na taon. At ang ganda ng picture nila ni Senator Robin Padilla. Anong sabi niyo nung nag-picture kayo? Kosa? Ang ganda ng picture nilang dalawa doon. Cannabis is not yet legal in the Philippines. It is only found in very remote areas of the Philippines. I have been to some of these very remote areas. Pag sinabi ko pong very remote areas, hindi madali. Tutulo ang pawis nyo. Minsan hindi lang pawis para lang makarating doon. You have to drive a long way, sometimes 10 hours or even more, and you have to walk a long distance. I have seen ang sinasabi ni Vice Mayor June Saclag na sayang ang langis, sayang ang halaman, ekta-ektarya, susunugin lamang. Siguro mayaman ang Pilipinas, hindi natin kailangan ng langis na yon. Sa ngayon po, illegal siya. I have seen that in the North, I have seen that in the Visayas, and ganun na rin po sa Mindanao. That is very unfortunate. Pero yung unfortunate situation na yon will not be here for a very long time. Now, as a rule of the thumb, 1% of the population will benefit from the legalization of medical cannabis. I'm not talking about Philippines alone. I'm talking about even different countries, even different states. For example, sa isang estado na 10 milyon ang populasyon, it is expected that 1% of the population will use medical cannabis. Pero nagkamali na po yung estimate na yan. More recent estimates in the United States say up to 3% of the population is now using medical cannabis. Lumampas na siya sa 1 milyon, 1%. Kung sa Pilipinas na meron tayong 120 million, 1% is 1.2 million. Estimated na gagamit ng medical cannabis, 1.2 million. Sidetrack ako ha. Assuming kalahati ng populasyon natin ay babae. Actually, more than half ang babae. Alam niyo po ba na 3% ng kababaihan ay magkakaroon ng breast cancer? 60 million times 3% is already 1.8 million possible based on the statistics na magkakaroon ng breast cancer. Highest in the entire world ang prevalence of breast cancer in the Philippines versus other countries. Ano kinalaman nun sa cannabis? Pain management. Gusto niyo ba mag-morphine? Yung may cancer, stage 4? Pasensya na po, kakain kayo meme. Dumudugo na, umiiyak na sa sakit hanggang sa bone. Magmamorphine sila, magtatramadol. O bigyan natin ng medical cannabis, hindi sila lango. Walang pain. Kayang gawin yan. So we're talking about 1.8 million people. Ang mga kalalakihan, kapag umabot sa edad 60, senior citizen, hindi ako magpapataas ng kamay ha, baka ayaw nyo magtaas eh. Sino ba lalaking 60 years old and above? 1 out of 2 ay meron ng prostate enlargement. Ibig sabihin, kapag hindi inagapan, it might lead to prostate cancer. At magkakaroon na rin ng possible na sakit. Maring kumalat, maring mag-metastasize, maring magkaroon ng pain. Kakailanganin na rin ng medical cannabis. So, 2 cancer pa lang yung binanggit ko. Breast cancer, possibly 1.8 million. And prostate cancer, how much? How many? I don't know. Pero ilang bata ang mayroong epilepsy? Ilang matanda ang may Parkinson's? Ilan sa inyo ang may anxiety, depression, sleep disorder? We're talking about maybe total of 3 million or maybe 5 million Filipinos who should be benefiting from this medical cannabis. Right now, pinagkakait sa atin. Milyon-milyon ang Pilipinong kailangan makinabang dyan. Tama po ipinaglalaban natin para sa 5 milyong Pilipino. Kailangan nila ng medical cannabis. Oops. Merong isang portion dito, nakaligtaan ko. By year 2030, 6 na taon na lamang mula ngayon, it is estimated that the global cannabis trade will reach $180 billion. If this law is passed this year in the Philippines, we can still be positioned to get at least 2% share of that global trade. Meaning, ilan yun? $3.6 billion translated sa taxes sa LGU at sa national government, approximately 40 billion pesos annually. Buwis ibibigay sa gobyerno. Ilang flyover o ilang libo-libong classroom o ilang mga ospital o clinic, health center ang masusuportahan dahil sa buwis na manggagaling sa medical cannabis. Bukod pa yan, sa mga directly magkakaroon ng trabaho, mga magsasaka, mga scientists, agriculturists, researchers, and so on. Napakalaki ng benefit yan, hindi lamang sa kalusugan, kundi maging sa ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Kailan unang final ang cannabis bill? 2014 pa yata yan eh. Andiyan, no? Andun po mga kasamahan natin, nandito tayo sa litrato. Kami po yung nakipaglaban nandun. Palakpakan po natin ang ating mga kasamahan. And these are some of the bills. I will not dwell on this. Ito, magandang balita. Last week, lumabas sa Philippine Star. 13 senators sign report on medical marijuana bill. 13 lang yan. Anong significance? Ilan ba senador natin? 24. Ilan ang majority? 13. And this is already the 13. Ganun na rin po, noong February 7, House Committee on Dangerous Drugs and Committee on Health in-approve na yung ating substitute bill. Sino ang kasama sa 13 na yan? 5 of the most important senators when it comes to medical cannabis. Number 1, of course, is the author, Senator Robin Padilla. Pangalawa, napakahalaga niyan, ang Committee on Health at pinirmahan niyan ni Senator Bongo. At kailangan, pirmahan din yan ng Committee on Dangerous Drugs, which is Senator Bato de la Rosa. At kailangan, maganda kung pipirma rin ang minority floor leader, which is si Coco Pimentel, at ang majority floor leader na si Joel Villanueva. 5 na po yan at nadagdagan ng 8 pa. Ang kailangan po natin, umabot ang pipirma sa hindi bababa sa 17 para pagdating sa nagdiskusyon na sila sa plenaryo, ay mas malakas ang impact natin. Trabahuin pa po natin yun, ha? 4 pa ang kailangan pipirma dyan. Bauertek Pharmaceutical Technologies. Ano kinalaman ng Bauertek dyan? Abanting ako. Sabi nila, noong unang panahon, hindi daw kaya ng Pilipinas gumawa ng medical cannabis. Dinala natin sila sa Bauertek. Anong sabi nila? Kaya pala. Yes, kaya pala. Hindi lang sa basta kaya. Tayo ay gagawa ng pinakamataas na antas na medical cannabis na matatagpuan sa buong Asia. When I say that, I mean it. Namasyal po tayo. Ilang araw kami naglibot sa Bangkok, at actually hindi lang Bangkok surrounding areas, and I told them, now you see what I mean? Sabi ko sa inyong Bauertek is superior. Namasyal po kami doon at nakita nila yon. Bauertek is involved in research and development. We also manufacture drugs, cosmetics, and so on. And we have our own plantations. We have plantations in Isabela, sa Isabela State University, in partnership with DOST and the Academe. We have plantations sa Gabaldon, in partnership with the DOST again and the Nueva Ecija University of Science and Technology. At meron din po tayo sa MMSU, Mariano Marcos State University sa Batak. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Mataas ang antas natin kasi in partnership with government agencies and in partnership with the Academe. Nakakita na kayo na luyang dilaw. Yung ganito kaliliit na, ang luyang dilaw natin doon, 8 feet tall. Instead na 200 grams lang per rhizome, ang luyang dilaw natin, 3 kilo, 5 kilo kada luya. Doon natin kinukuha ang turmeric na nagiging curcumin. We have license to manufacture drugs. We have good manufacturing practice for drugs, license to manufacture supplements, cosmetics. We are also halal certified facility. Salamat po sa mga media na tumutulong sa atin. Sabi nga natin sa media forum, Dr. Chope, mamaya makikita ninyo ang sarili ninyo dyan. Dr. Donabel Cruz, andyan ka, oh. Soon, the use of marijuana will be legal. Yan, kasama natin mga advocates natin. Ayan pa, yung mag-ama. At saka, huling-huli, ito ay nangyari noong November na kung saan groundbreaking tayo sa Science City of Muñoz na kung saan binigyan tayo ng 16 hectares para sa pagtayo ng ating mas advanced na facility at magkakaroon tayo ng isang cultivation site. There will be many, many cultivation sites. I believe there will be many in Kalinga. Model farm lamang ilalagay natin dyan para matuto yung mga magko-cultivate coming from other areas. There will be a Cannabis Training and Research Institute na itatatag natin dyan. And that is, again, in partnership with DOST. Suportado nila yung pag-set up natin ng facility sa CLSU, sa Science City of Muñoz. Yan po ang ilan. Pasalamatan po natin ating mga media partners, lalo na po sa PAPI, sa kanilang active na pag-post yan. Thank you, Mayan. Hindi pa tapos ang batas, pero ang possible dyan ay hindi isang lisensya lamang ang ibibigay. Hindi isang higanteng lisensya, kundi several small licenses. Maaari magbigay ng lisensya for cultivation, meaning there could be 100 companies or individuals or groups who can apply and may be granted cultivation license. It's okay as long as susunod sila sa batas. Pangalawa, kaya isa pang lisensya ibibigay para sa processing and extraction. Bakit kailangan ng processing? Bakit kailangan ng extraction? Medical po ang pinag-uusapan. Pag medical cannabis, kailangan ng i-extract ang active pharmaceutical ingredient. How many companies can qualify? I don't know. But Bauertek will definitely qualify for this. What if there are 100 cultivation sites? Kailangan nila ng partnership sa extraction facility. Otherwise, mapupunta sa black market ang kanilang itatanim. Kailangan i-harvest nila ay idediretso sa isang processing facility. And then, it can be manufactured. How many companies can manufacture cannabis? I'm sure there will be many. And distribution, and also, eventually, the dispensary. I'm not sure about the dispensary portion. Kasi sa Thailand, other than medical cannabis, merong mga ibang items pa. Sa Philippines, mukhang medical lang. So I'm not sure about the fifth one. Baka malamang ay sa drugstores ito o sa government facilities lamang. I don't know. So that is Bauertek Pharmaceutical Technologies. We use only the latest technology. And nakapunta dyan mga government officials natin and they want to use it as a standard or benchmark na sana gayahin na iba pa mga manufacturing facility. Sino po ba dito ang nakapunta na sa Bauertek? Taas ang kamay po. Tama po ba sinasabi ko na advance ang ating proseso? Thank you, thank you. Andyan po ating mga lab people. Yung mga sila po ang sinisigurado nila na tama ang ating ginagawa sa loob. Stricto sila. Marami tayong gamot na ginawa doon. We have partnership with the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Agriculture, Commission on Higher Education. Also with several universities, Isabela State University, Mariana Marcos, NEUST, and now with the Central Luzon State University. Ano ibig sabihin ng partnership na yan? Nagsishare tayo ng technology sa kanila. Nagsishare tayo ng expertise. In fact, wait, ano araw ngayon? Kailan yung next batch ng training natin? Next week? Monday. Okay. Maraming universities nagpapadala ng kanilang mga professor or academe or yung kanilang yung mga faculty nila nag-hands-on training sa loob ng Bauertek. Bakit? Graduate naman sila ng pharmacy. Graduate naman sila ng biology. Graduate sila ng so many other courses. Oo, as academe, as lecturers, as professors. Pero yung hands-on expertise nila sa Bauertek ginagawa. Kaya next week, Monday, magsisimula another 10 uli. After 2 weeks, another 10 uli. After 2 weeks, another 10 uli. And that's not the first. Marami na pong 10 na mga profesor mula sa iba't ibang university ang nagpupunta sa Bauertek. Tinutulungan natin mahasa, increasing their capacity to capacitate ang term doon. Now, this is the phase of the upcoming facilities sa Science City of Muñoz. Nagpapasalam tayo sa mainit na pagtanggap sa atin ni Mayor Baby Alvarez. Supportive po siya sa medical cannabis. Yan ay makikita ninyo sa CLSU. Anong meron dyan? Wala pa po yung building. Ginigiba pa po ngayon. Yung mga lumang facility doon. Ginigiba. Pagkatapos gibain, clear, very clear, then we start with the construction. Yung mga nakapunta doon, lahat na nakita yung building doon, mawawala lahat. Ang matitira doon lahat puro puno at papalitan natin ng bago katulad ng ganyan. Yan ating mga processing facility. Ito, training center natin yan. Kaya yung mga magsasaka mula sa malayong lugar o sa lubuagan can be trained here. At saan sila titira? E di meron tayong staff house, meron tayong dormitory, 100 beds ito. Habang sila ay nagtitraining, they can go there. Ang pagkakaalam ko po, sasamahan tayo nila Jomi, nila attorney. Mag-OJT daw yata ng planting at harvesting. At saka yung mga sobrang, susunog-sunugin natin, di ba? Ang alam ko, may mga volunteer tayo. Tama ba, Doon tayo. Magdo-dorm tayo doon, mga 1 taon. Meron tayo mga VIP villas, ilalagay din natin doon. Timeline, November 2023, groundbreaking. Fourth quarter of this year, dapat patapos na tayo sa phase 1 ng ating construction. First quarter of next year, dapat legal na ang medical cannabis sa Philippines. 2025, dapat fully licensed na tayo to cultivate, process, extract, and manufacture. And then, meron tayong 40,000 square meters ng buildings, 40,000 square meters, actually, 4 hectares of buildings, 4 hectares of greenhouses, 8 hectares of cultivation, and meron tayo standby doon na 100 hectares. Meron ako i-share sa inyo. Nadinig niyo ba yung balita kahapon o kanina? Isang ahensya ng gobyerno, papayagan namin ng medical cannabis. Huwag lang lokal. Kailangan imported. Nabasa niyo yan? Naku, talaga na naman laos na. Sinauna panahon pa nung T-Rex at saka Jurassic Park yun eh. Bawal daw gawing lokal. May idea kayo kung bakit? Ha? Ganon? Oo. Tingnan natin ha, bakit kaya? Bakit? May isang report, isinabmit. Ang committee nito, mula sa UP Manila, UPLB, nag-consolidate sila ng report. In-estimate nila gaano karaming Pilipino ang pwedeng gumamit ng medical cannabis. Nag-compute sila magkano ang magiging benta. Di ba ngayon 5,000 yung isang bote? Di ba? More or less, ano? Di ba? Sa black market, wala naman tayo white market. Black market, more or less, nasa 5,000. In-estimate nila na kapag naligal yan, magiging 1,000 na lang. Okay? 1,000. Kasi, ano na, hindi na patago, mass production na, may lisensya na siya. Okay. Alam niyo kung ano lumabas. Doon na lang sa, sa reduced rate. Once legalized, it is estimated that in the Philippines alone, local patients will consume 8.2 billion pesos worth. Ay, wag nating i-manufacture locally. Kailangan imported. Grabe, no? Instead na tayo ang magmamanufacture, if done locally, that will be the cost. Hindi ako gumawa niyan, UP Manila, UPLB, at may isa pang university. 3 sila. 8.2 billion. Ayaw. Gusto nila imported lamang at magkano imported? Mas mahal na dihamak kumpara dyan. Hindi pa kikita ang Pilipinas. Forever and ever, tayo ay mag-i-import na lamang dahil mga bobo daw ang Pilipino, hindi daw natin kaya gumawa ng gamot, hindi daw natin kayang bantayan ang ating sarili. Naniniwala ba kayo doon? Daw, malabo, no? Malabo. Pagtulungan po natin, hindi lamang malegalize ang cannabis, kundi ang karapatan natin na ito ay gawin sa Pilipinas para sa mga Pilipino, makinabang sa murang halaga ang ating mga pasyente at kumita ang ating bayan. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Richard Gomez. Now, let's proceed to a question and answer. To our media friends, yes, extra microphone para doon sa... Okay, before we start, do we have another mic? Our media friends, if you have question, your affiliation and name, please state your affiliations and your name.
Okay na po.
Go ahead, sir. Please.
Yeah. Hello. Meron?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. At kami po'y nagpapasalamat unang-una sa Bauertek Corporation dahil isa ho kayo sa mga very vocal para ho sa gayon ay mabigyan tayo ng isang mas mabisang gamot sa ating pong mga mahihirap na mga kababayan. Unang-una, ang batas po ito or ang panukalang batas na ito, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, ay nasa usapin na ho ng ating pong mga mambabatas. Pwede niyo po ba kaming bigyan kung ano ang status ngayon nito sa mababang kapulungan ng Kongreso at sa Senado?
Hello.
Hello. Sa House of Representatives po, tapos na sa Committee on Health at Committee on Dangerous Drugs. Twin referral po ang tawag natin dyan.
Saan po yan? Sa
House of Representatives.
House. Okay. Sige po.
So, itatransmit na po nila sa Committee on Appropriations for the appropriation component. Dahil meron pong hinihingi yung batas na actually in the House, it's 1 billion. No? Medyo hindi kami hopeful dun sa 1 billion, pero pag ma-explain sa kanila, sa mga mambabatas, Committee on Appropriations po, ng mga authors, baka naman magbigay sila, basta magkaintindihan lamang sila na yung binubuong opisina na mag-oversee dito sa medical cannabis will be under the, as proposed in the House of Representatives, Medical Cannabis Office under the Department of Health. So yun po ang estado. Pagkatapos ng Committee on Appropriations, magkakaroon po ng tawag dito ng mananambera na yung bill at ito po ay pupunta sa Committee on Rules na magsischedule naman kung kailan pag-uusapan sa plenaryo. Opo, yung mas malaking buong kapulungan na yon, no? Sa Senado po, meron na ring substitute bill. Ito po yung sinasabi kanina ni Dr. Gomez na 13 ang nakapirma, including the author. Ang importante nga po doon, nakapirma po ang majority leader, si Senator Villanueva at si Senator Coco, representing the minority. Okay? So, it is ready for floor deliberations. But we want them to be really ready, so we have scheduled a briefing on Wednesday with the staffers. And then later on, we will schedule also with the with the senators para po magkaroon ng yung tawag namin, pinapatigas namin yung tuhod nila at saka yung dibdib nila para depensahan yung bill. Dahil doon po sa committee report, makikita nyo, si Senator Coco Pimentel is going to signify this intention to interpolate. Nilagay po niya. Senator Villanueva, the majority leader as well, also signified his intention to interpolate. There are several others who will interpolate and will propose amendments. Ibig sabihin po kung ano yung nasa yung provision ngayon sa substitute bill ay baka gusto nilang baguhin, mag-i-introduce po sila ng makakaganda pa dun sa medical cannabis bill or mawa-water down, which we don't like. So whatever agreements will be reached, sana po gusto namin malinis na pagkatapos ng plenaryo para konti na lang yung gagawin nila sa Bicameral Conference Committee. Ang meron pong pagkakaiba din kasi yung Senado, ang gusto ni Senator Robin ay Medical Cannabis Authority. Yung pong Medical Cannabis Authority is a creation under the law of a new office which will supervise the medical cannabis activities. So, pag ganun po, magiging attached agency siya ng Department of Health. Pero mas komplikado po yun kasi mas malaking budget ang kailangan, mga tao, at hiwalay pa po. So, normally, the national government, lalo na ngayon, kasi nagra-right sizing po tayo, they frown upon the creation of new offices. So, mas simple po, at ito po ay panukala ni former President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, na sinabi niyang, alam nyo, mas simpleng batas, mas mabuti. Sabi niyang ganon. At sana, as envisioned by the House leaders, the House authors, ay sana yung Medical Cannabis Office under the Department of Health. So, simpler, easier for them to accept and then to defend on the floor and even with the public.
Medyo mahaba-haba po papaluho pala ang ating pong laban. Kumbaga sa karera, tayo ay nasa unang hakbang pa lamang.
Opo. Kasi po, iba po yung nasa committee, iba po yung pag-uusapan pa nila sa plenaryo. Yung sa plenaryo po, medyo madugo din yun. No? We have, in fact, at this time, up to the time that they go on recess, and even while they are on recess, we will try as much as we can to flash out ano ba yung objections, ano ba yung mga agam-agam nila para sana masagot na natin habang maaga. Maunahan natin, mapaliwanagan sila para pagdating po sa plenaryo, konti na lang yung magtatanong, sana, o ganon. Ganon po yung nais naming gawin.
Meron pong lumabas na ulat na mismong ang Secretary ng Department of Health ay tutol po sa pagsasaligal ng marijuana or ng cannabis. Ano po ang impact nito sa inyong pong kampanya?
Hindi po kami naniniwala na siya ay against the bill. I think kulang lang po siya ng paliwanag. No? So, importante po sa atin na magtulong-tulong tayo. Kailangan tayong gumawa ng position paper. The committee, the House of Representatives and the Senate, sila naman po siguro ay mapapaliwanagan. Kasi medical naman po ito. Hindi po ito for leisure purposes. And that they will see that especially in the House, the provisions are very tight. Kailangan merong lisensya for compassionate care. May panibagong lisensya, hindi lang po yung lisensya ng mga doktor natin, no? Ng mga medical practitioners natin. There is a special license which will have to be which will have to be given to specific practitioners who wish to prescribe the medical cannabis. Yeah.
Alright, thank you so much po. Magandang hapon po sa inyo. By the way, ako po si Michael Rogas po ng Radyo Pilipinas. Magandang gabi po.
Okay, thank you. Next question, please. Next question, please. Okay, sige. Affiliation and...
Kasi
Okay,
kanina,
sige, sir.
it was asked that yung Secretary of Health is against the medical cannabis. The stand of the Secretary of Health doesn't mean the stand of the DOH in general. Now, if you would remember, during the time of the campaign, President Bongbong Marcos himself states his support for the legalization of medical cannabis. Now, the new program of the administration pertaining to the Bagong Pilipinas, part of it is the health security aspects pertaining to exploring alternative medicines that would really help the Filipinos. And part of it, in the exploration, exploring all aspects such as the medical cannabis. So, it is not a worry that the Secretary of Health stand is against the medical cannabis because it's not the stand of the Department of Health. What we are looking at now for is the declaration and support of the President that he is in support for the legalization of medical cannabis. Thank you.
Let me just clarify. The Secretary of Health is not against the legalization of cannabis. He is in favor of the legalization of medical cannabis. He is against local production of cannabis. Gusto niya imported.
Okay. Go ahead, sir. Two questions, please.
Hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rory Visco from Business Mirror. Sir, Dr. Gomez, have you already talked or finalized things or probably sat down with the Food and Drug Administration in terms of the elimination of the issuance of a CSP? Because you mentioned a while ago in your presentation about the costliness of importing medical cannabis. Have you already discussed with them the probability of not having to issue or not requiring a CSP anymore to facilitate the entry, and then of course the local production of medical cannabis in the country? I think what is allowed only is more on government facilities in terms of cultivation. Can you confirm that as well? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. The matter was discussed thoroughly in both Congress and Senate during the committee hearings and during the TWG or Technical Working Group. In fact, kung di ako nagkakamali, nandito si Attorney Henry, si Dr. Donabel. Sa buong 10 taon na ipinagmamalaki ng FDA na merong compassionate special permit, kahit sa committee hearings, pinagmamalaki nila, we have compassionate special permit. Tinanong sila, nainis na yung mga kongresista, sige, sa isang dekada, ilang CSP na ang nabigyan ninyo sa buong Pilipinas? Sa isang dekada? The answer is 1. And out of this 1, sa dinami-dami nung nag-iisa na yan na nabigyan ng CSP, ilan na nakabili? Wala. Dahil siya yung mga kailangan na 1.6 million pesos per year para masustenahan ang karamdaman ng kanyang anak. Kaya't nagalit na itong huling nung February 7 meeting sa House. Ang sabi ganoon, teka, itigil na nga yung CSP. Gusto nila i-declare as illegal ang CSP. Tapusin na yung CSP dahil pupunta na tayo sa legalization of medical cannabis. No more need for CSP.
Yung CSP po kasi ay binibigay base sa isang administrative order nung panahon ni Secretary Flavier. And the opinion of many of the lawyers, in fact, Congressman Acop, who was present in the meeting, said it is ultra vires. Ibig sabihin, saan nang gagaling yung legal basis nyo para mag-issue kayo ng compassionate permit? Wala naman pong pinanggagalingan yon, kaya ganun ang naging reaksyon nung members ng committee.
If I may also add, sir, I personally applied for the compassionate special permit way back about 5 to 7 years ago. So, challenge ko po itong provision ng FDA na kung saan nag-i-issue sila ng CSP sa mga lehitimong pasyente na nangangailangan hindi lamang ng medical cannabis medications, pero yung tinatawag na orphan drugs, yung pong mga gamot na bibili natin sa ibang bansa kasi hindi po siya available dito sa Pilipinas. So, ako naman po bilang may sakit nga po yung anak ko, at yun po yung paulit-ulit na sinasabi ng mga doktor sa Philippine Medical Association leadership and at the same time ng ating ibang kongresista at senador. So nag-apply po ako ng CSP. And then unfortunately, yung pong the entire CSP process is very tedious. Sobrang hirap ng proseso. Tapos po, napakamahal. Tama po si Dr. Richard, pumapalo po ito ng 58,000 per bottle. So, nung nag-compute po ako, 1.5 to 1.6 million per year yung medication ng anak ko. So, kahit po may trabaho kami mag-asawa, hindi po ito sustainable. Kasi ang mangyayari po, ang aming pong layunin sa Canna Hopefuls Incorporated, among with other advocates, na ito po ay maging abot kaya sa mahihirap. Kasi hindi lang naman po mayaman ng may karapatang gumaling. May karapatan din pong gumaling ang bawat Pilipinong mahirap. So, yun po.
Ilinaw ko lang yung tungkol sa CSP, Yung compassionate special permit, magandang magandang tuntunin yun dahil magkakaroon ka ng access sa mga tinatawag na orphan drugs. Naisip yun ni na Dr. Flavier nung siya ang nasa DOH para matulungan yung mga tao na hindi mabili yung gamot. Ang problema, nung lumitaw na yung issue ng medical marijuana, ginamit nilang weapon yung CSP para harangin yung batas. Kaya ang nag-suffer yung concept ng CSP. Lahat ng kontra sa batas, ang sinasabi nila, hindi natin kailangan ng batas kasi meron namang CSP. Kaya, unang-una, pagka na-aprubahan na ang batas, hindi na natin kailangan yung CSP. Kasi yung CSP, applicable lang yon kapag ka yung produkto ay hindi available sa Pilipinas. Yun. FDA, kakampi na natin ng FDA, yung usapan na lang kung sila ang magte-testing o hindi. Yun na lang naman ang issue. Kasi sabi nila, hindi naman kami nagte-testing. Ang sabi nung, at saka hindi na kaya, ang sabi naman ng mga doktor, bigyan nyo ng dagdag na budget ang FDA para sila mag-testing.
Sir, follow up lang po, Ms.
question,
Ann.
sir. Sige,
From
go ahead.
from a legislative standpoint, ano po yung timeline once the law is approved and signed in terms of the implementing rules and regulations? Who will be part of the technical working group or technical committee who will take charge in crafting the IRR?
The IRR, the provision on the substitute bill says 90 days upon the publication of the law. Yes, that can, sometimes it stretches to 6 months to 1 year, but that's why in the House, the authors wish to clarify as much as possible the provisions already in the bill, so that when it becomes law, there is very little room for interpretation. Now we frown upon the IRR because it is executive legislation. Hindi po nila trabaho yon. At marami po sa mga batas natin, mas matapang pa yung IRR kesa dun sa batas. Nung panahon po namin ni Speaker Mitra, wala po kaming IRR. Napauso lang po yun nung nagpapabilis sila ng paglabas ng mga bills para maging batas, tapos ilalagay nila doon that within 90 days, susulatin yung IRR. Ihahanda ng departamento yung IRR. So, ngayon po, as much as possible, kaya nagtutulong-tulong po kami na linawin as much as we can yung provisions both in the House and in the Senate versions, so that there will be very little room for interpretation.
Sabi nyo nga po, mas simple, mas maganda.
Opo.
Thank
Totoo
you.
po yun.
Okay, thank
Salamat
you.
po.
I have question, Doc Richard. Kayo sa presentation mo, 13 senators already signed. So, ang target natin, at least 17. Doon sa apat na yun, do you have priority senators na dapat natin talagang ligawan?
Senator Marcos, of course, Amy Marcos, because precisely we have a partnership with the Don Mariano Marcos University in Ilocos Norte, their home province. Senator Risa Ontiveros, she is, I think, an advocate already, but we will have to secure her signature dahil wala pa po yung signature niya doon, no? Sino pa ba yung dalawa na iniisip naming apat? Meron po kasi kaming listahan. But primarily talagang gusto nating makausap si Senadora Marcos.
Okay. So you will be in charge for that, ma'am? Ikaw
Opo,
talaga?
pinagtutulungan po namin. In
sige.
fact,
So, good
may
luck po
plano
sa
na
inyo.
po kami para doon. Tapos kakatulungin namin, syempre mga stakeholders natin. Kayo po ay kakatulungin namin after Tuesday, siguro, at the latest Tuesday or Wednesday, malaman na natin. Oo.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Pasensya na po kayo kung naka-t-shirt ako na itong ganito. Yung, alam niyo na po ibig sabihin nito. Galing po ako sa nag-cover sa rally sa Liwasan mo. Ang tanong ko po, kahit po siya yung sumagot or si Sir Richard, matagal ko na po itong madalas sabihin sa mga forum ni Sir Richard. Siguro, mas maganda po layunin ng medical cannabis. Nakikita ko po yan sa paliwanag lang po ni Sir Richard na ilang taong kami magkasama puro sa forum at nagpresenta pa ng mga gumagamit at gumaling. Kaso ang problema mo, malaki. hanggat nandyan po yan, nasa Republic Act 9165, Section 21, ang marijuana ay dangerous drug. Kahit anong pagsusulong po natin sa Senado, pumasa na po tayo pumasa na po sa Kongreso. Sa Senado, nandiyan si Robin Padilla, pero nakabinbin. Hindi ba po pwedeng pagtulong-tulungan nyo na maalis yung Section 21 na yan, yung sa dangerous drug sa Republic Act 9165? Yan po yung nagiging problema na nakikita ko na humahad lang para maging pumasok yung medical cannabis sa Pilipinas. Kung natatandaan niyo po, noong isang araw may report ako, 1.6 billion marijuana. Doon po, kala Vice Mayor. Pinasok po yan ng Philippine Army at ng PIDEA. Sa bundok po yan. Ginapang nila, winasak, sinunog para po din sa kalaman nyo. Kasi kaya ko po alam yan, nag-update po ako. President rin po ako ng Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency Press Corps. So tinututukan ko po yan, kaya din po alam ko. Doon po, paulit-ulit kong sinasabi, ang ganda po ng usapan talagang makakatulong sa bansa natin, makakapasok ng malalaking pera, dolyar. Kaso nga po, isang linya lang Hindi ba natin pwedeng mapatanggal yun, ma'am, maski sino siya dyan sumagot?
Okay, maraming salamat, sir, no? Tama po kayo, no? Precisely, kaya nga po meron tayong pinupush na batas sa ating pong Kongreso at Senado dahil nga po sa RA 9165. However, yung RA 9165, ito po, nandito po katabi ko si Attorney Enahe, isa po ako sa petitioner, no, na para po i-reclassify natin yung RA 9165 para tanggalin po ito sa classification na mas mababa na kung saan mas magkakaroon na siya ng scientific basis na para magamit bilang gamot at the same time magamit na po naming mga pasyente. So ito po si Attorney Enay.
Maraming salamat po. Magandang katanungan po yan. Kaya isa rin po sa kasabay na sinusulong namin yung panukalang batas ni Congressman Pantaleon Alvarez, which is actually ina-address niyo po directly yung concern po ninyo. Pero sa ngayon po, naniniwala kami na kasama ng ibang mga advocates na urgent yung enabling law para magkaroon ng access yung mga pasyente. Kasi it's just a matter of life and death para doon sa mga pasyente. Agaw buhay sila araw-araw. So that enabling law, yung pinakakailangan natin. I believe the delisting or the decriminalization of the plant itself from 9165 might happen later on. But today, at least, urgently magkakaroon ng access yung mga pasyente naman natin.
Okay, I'm a member of the PIDEA Oplan Lawman and the Oplan Private Eye. At the same time, the academic sector representative for the Interagency Committee Against Illegal Drugs. PIDEA have formed a technical working group to look at the legalization of medical marijuana. And part of it is that the section itself is now being discussed in the technical working group. And as of now, as per update on this point, PIDEA supports the legalization, but the illegal use and abuse of marijuana would still remain in that aspects. So as it goes by, the legalization itself is good, but the abuse and the use of marijuana in terms of not for medical purposes, that would be the problem. Actually when we were discussing that in the committee, we're looking at so many dimensions of this medical marijuana. It is not just a DOH concern, it is also rather more of a economic or trade concern and also an agricultural concern. Kaya nga yung na-push only nung huli, na-discuss lang yung medical component. Ang pinag-uusapan nga namin doon lately in general, specifically in the Congress, when I spoke to the different congressmen, is that the economic concern and benefits of medical marijuana, specifically because we're looking at as a cash crop. Remember, during the cultivation, dami tayong mga lupa sa kanila, sa Kalinga. You know, if you would consider that as a cash crop and it becomes an industry, it would create more jobs also to the Filipinos. But the problem is that we're so close, yung mga ibang Pilipino, they're just looking at the medical aspects. Sana makita rin yung ano eh. So kaya nga siguro in a certain point of the Congress, they would still look at the creation of the Philippine Cannabis Authority because the DOH itself is just limited to the medical aspects. When it's come to the Cannabis Authority, it's all the component, the trade, the science, the research, and all. So that's it. So in terms of your question, as I mentioned, there are now the provision in PIDEA. In terms of that provision, it is now a work in progress.
Tama po, sir. Kasi nakausap ko rin po si DDB Secretary Cuy at si Director General Lasso. Sinasabi niya naman, kung sakaling maging legal ang cannabis medicine sa Pilipinas, kailangan mawala muna doon sa Republic Act 9165 yung dangerous drugs. Ngayon, darating din po yung punto na pwede pa rin po sila manghuli hanggang ngayon.
Kaya nga, the idea is more of the delisting itself. That's the proposal of Congressman Alvarez. So the delisting as a proposal of Senator Alvarez is now being discussed in PIDEA too.
Alam mo, kailangan magtulungan tayo rito eh. Kasi may atraso ang DDB sa atin. Ganito yan eh. Nangako sila na kapag ang United Nations ay nagbago ng schedule ng mga substances ay aaksyonan ng Pilipinas automatically. Noong pong 2020, ang United Nations inalis ang cannabis and cannabis resin. Hindi lang THC, hindi lang CBD, kundi cannabis and cannabis resin. Inalis nila sa Schedule 4 ng United Nations Single Convention. Ano sinasabi nung Schedule 4? If the state finds that cannabis or coca or opium serves a serious danger to the security of the state, pwedeng ipagbawal ng Estado ang cultivation. Ang interpretation ng karamihan doon, bawal. So, ginaya natin. Naglagay tayo ng Schedule 1, ang PIDEA, ang DDB, nakasulat doon, Schedule 1 substances has no recognized medicinal value in the Philippines and subject to abuse and highly addictive. Equivalent to Schedule 4. Inalis na sa Schedule 4. Hindi pa rin nila inaalis sa Schedule 1. Nag-file sila ng petition 6 months ago. In violation na sila ng ARTA, hindi sila sumagot. In open session sa TWG, inasunto ko sila, sabi ko, sir, sabi nyo, magbabago na kayo. Ay hindi, nagkaroon lang kaming problema. Hindi namin makumpleto yung aming board. Gagawa kami ng technical working group, iikutan namin. Nagawa sila ng technical working group, nakita ulit kami. O sir, asa na? Naku, huwag kang mag-alala, Mr. Manansala. Pati cultivation, inaasikaso na namin. O sige, finally, nagkita kami itong nakaraan. Sabi ko, sir, asa na? Ang sagot, ganito. Sabi ko, di bali, sir, aawayin na lang namin kayo. Awayin natin. Singilin natin sila kasi may obligasyon sila sa batas ng Anti-Red Tape Act na kapag may nagpetisyon, kailangan sinasagot nila sa loob ng ilang araw. Hindi ko alam yung kanilang, pero mahigit 6 na buwan na eh. Ang gawin natin, mag-usap tayo pagkatapos to, gawin yung issue. Silang petitioner. Interviewin nyo sila.
Hintayin na lang po namin yung sinasabi nyo. Gawan nyo po ng press release para may spread natin.
Yun.
May balita. Yun po may tutulong namin sa inyo. Yung press release po. Yan ang kailangan namin para mabulabog ang DDB.
Opo, ganito ang game plan natin. Ano? Kasi pag oras na nangyari yun, baliwala na yung sinasabi mong section yung dangerous drugs. Kasi puwera na rin ang cannabis. Hindi na siya dangerous. Kasi, dangerous pa rin ang tawag nila, pero nire-recognize na ang medicinal value. Ilipat lang nila sa Schedule 2, okay na eh. Pero wag naman Schedule 1. Alright.
Okay, maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much.
Magandang hapon sa inyo.
Ang ganda ng discussion natin, although we have kulang lang tayo sa oras. Before we end, short statement lang ho. Start with Sir John.
So alam niyo po, sa usapin ng legalization ng medical cannabis, sabi nga kanina, ang pinaka-importante yung kaalaman ng bawat mamamayan para matanggap yung kahalagahan. Unang-una ay mag-spread ng knowledge, specifically you in the media, to educate people regarding the medical cannabis. And with that, I think if people are aware, educated, and concerned regarding the legalization of this, it would be an accepted law. Yan lang po at maraming salamat.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Salamat po. Sa akin naman, bilang IP, Indigenous People, kabilang sa Kalinga Tribe, ay gusto lang namin maisulong itong medical marijuana para makatulong sa aming mga IP. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. President.
Ang Masikhay Research po ay nakafocus sa scientific research ng cannabis. Sa susunod na mga buwan ay magdadaos kami ng mga scientific seminar na mag-iimbita tayo ng mga maalam mula sa ibang bansa at sa loob ng Pilipinas para mapalawak natin yung kaalaman on a scientific basis. Pero ang mas maganda, ito ang panawagan namin pagtulong-tulungan po nating lahat na gawin nating electoral issue ang marijuana. Yung pong mga senador, kailangan yan maging popular sila sa tao. Kung popular na issue ang marijuana, kung lahat tayo ay mag-iingay, kung ang social media ay bubugbugin natin ng suporta, tingin ko dadami na yung susuporta mula sa mga senador.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How about Miss Ma'am Ann?
Sa amin naman po na tumutulong sa inyo para maging batas ito, we want to temper your expectations. Marami pa pong trabahong gagawin, marami pang kailangang kaalaman ng ating mga mambabatas para lumakas ang loob nila na depensahan itong medical cannabis and to make it accessible to as many Filipinos as possible. Magtulong-tulong po tayo para isulong itong batas at sana naman hopefully bago mag-eleksyon ay ng 2025 ay matapos po natin ito. Maraming salamat po.
Yes, Attorney.
Kami po sa MEDCANN Party, early this year, dineclare na po namin na magiging legal ang medical marijuana or medical cannabis sa Pilipinas. So, ngayong araw, mas lalong nasigundahan yung paniniwala na yon sa balita ni Sir Richard, sa update po sa legislature. Ang usapin na lang po ngayon yung detalye, sino ang makikinabang, paano to i-execute on the ground, etc. Isa po sa hindi pa nakikita natin yung decongestion sa jail. Kasi po, this might be an exemption to criminal liability. Our government agencies can now spend their budget to more pressing social services na kinakailangan, etc. So, isang malaking component rin yun na magiging kapakipakinabang sa atin. Kaya, sama-sama po tayo para i-push pa po itong batas po ito. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, Dr. Donabel.
Para po sa Canna Hopefuls Incorporated, ang usapin po ng medical marijuana ay nagsimula dahil po sa aming mga pasyente. Ito po ay aming hiniling, 10 taon na po ang nakakaraan. At ang end user po at makikinabang ng mga batas na ito ay mga lehitimong pasyente na nangangailangan ng medical cannabis. So mula po sa aming mga pasyente, tuloy lang po ang laban para sa affordable, safe, and available medical cannabis. So yes, so as a Medcann.
Thank you. Doc Richard, before your final statement, pagbigyan lang ho natin ang aking kaibigan from media. One question, please.
Yes, Jelly Mendez po from DWIZ. Doc Richard, may ilang mga eksperto na nagsusulong dito sa medical cannabis, pero meron ding tutol sa pagsasaligal ng medical cannabis. Paano po kaya makakasiguro, anong hakbang ang pwedeng gawin ng Bauertek Corporation para makasiguro na hindi maaabuso ang paggamit nito, particular sa mga kabataan? Kasi kamakailan, meron ng nahuli na yung mga gummy bear na galing din gawa din sa mga marijuana, sa medical cannabis.
Yung dati, maraming mga eksperto ang tumututol sa legalisasyon ng cannabis. Ngayon, konti na lang sila. Extinct na sila. Napaka-konti na lang ang tumututol dahil na-realize nila na outdated na. Sinaunang panahon pa ang kanilang konsepto na hindi nakakatulong ang cannabis. Konti na lang sila, baliwala na yon. Masyadong konti. Ngayon, tungkol sa pag-aabuso, ang medical cannabis ay bibigay lamang through prescription. Sa Kongreso, ang proposal is through S2 licensed physician. Na ibig sabihin, hindi lahat ng doktor pwede magreseta, S2 license lamang. At nakalagay doon ilan ang pwede mong ireseta sa'yo. Good for 1 month. Pag naubos na yon, papareseta ka uli. At naiiba yan sa inaabuso na nababalitaan mo na gami, hindi yan kasama sa medical, at saka yung hinihit-hit, hindi rin siya medical. Lahat yun ay saklaw pa rin ng DDB at ng PIDEA. Huhulihin pa rin sila. Ang hindi huhulihin ay yung medical lamang.
Nagkaroon po ng survey regarding dito sa may cannabis use disorder. Bali, 3 sa kada 10 individual daw po. Particular dito, yung mga nagtitake ng medical cannabis, yung mga may stroke, nagkaroon daw po ng problema sa kanilang pangangatawan, especially sa utak, sa puso, at saka sa baga. Ano po yung masasabi niyo rito?
I would like to see that report. Baka haka-haka yan ng kwentong barbero. Hindi ako naniniwala dyan unless I see the medical journal. So that's my answer to that.
That's the end of our question and answer. So, what next?
Ang alam ko, tama ang mga sagot namin sa tanong nyo. Pwede na kaming kumain?
Yes, pwede na po. Kuya Jean, picture.
Maganda sana, Dok, magkaroon tayo ng part 2 na press con together with this group, no? Kulang yung oras natin, eh. Although, napaka-education at saka
end of our event, please join me in welcoming Ms. Jean Agustin, Project Administrator of Bauertek Corporation, to deliver the closing remarks.
Good evening. As we draw to a close on this remarkable gathering, I am filled with an immense sense of gratitude and inspiration. We have come together as advocates, pioneers, and believers of the power of progress and compassion. In the face of adversity, we have stood resolute, united in our mission of champions, in our mission to champion the cause of medical cannabis in the Philippines. Despite the current legal constraints, we have refused to be discouraged. Instead, we have forged ahead with unwavering determination, fueled with the belief that every individual deserves access to safe and effective medical treatment. I want to extend our deepest gratitude to your unwavering commitment and dedication to this cause. Together, we have made significant strides in raising awareness, fostering dialogues, and paving the way for meaningful change. It is through events like today's that we have been able to amplify our voices and elevate the discourse surrounding medical cannabis. We have provided a platform for education, advocacy, and collaboration, bringing together experts, stakeholders, and the media to shed light in this important issue. We must be proud of what we have accomplished thus far, but our work is far from over. As we depart from this gathering, let us carry with us a renewed sense of purpose and strengthened resolve to continue pushing forward. The road ahead may still be full of challenges, but with our collective effort and unwavering determination, we will overcome them. Let us remain resolute in our commitment for the legalization of medical cannabis in the Philippines. Let us continue to be the voices of change, the catalyst of progress, and the champion of compassion. As we look toward the future, let hope and optimism fill us. Believe that with continued dedication of individuals like yourselves, we will see the day when medical cannabis is not only legal, but readily accessible to all who need it. Thank you once again for your unwavering support and dedication. Together, we will shape the future with the healing power of medical cannabis, and it is recognized and embraced by all. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. Once again, I'm Nelson Santos, the President of the Publishers Associations of the Philippines.
And I'm Melanie Baon, naturopath and broadcaster of Kaibigan sa Kalusugan.
See you on the next event. We're signing off. Thank you.
Thank you very much.